going to talk about recruiting and finding employees in the blue collar world. That's what we do, right? Blue collar recruiting. We're going to get in depth though and granular and in the weeds with this. And I know a lot of times we talk about job titles, job descriptions, or we always talk about, culture and all those sorts of things. But we're just going to talk about the recruiting system that we use at Blue Sky Services that literally helps us find hundreds and hundreds of employees to hire every single year. So, in multiple parts of the country too, and probably, I'd say probably close to 25 or 30 states now we're finding people for blue collar, technical type of work, sales, all kinds of things. I'm going to touch on job titles, job descriptions, very granular keyword stuff. What's different between Indeed and Craigslist? I'm going to go into resume searches and show you some tricks in there. All the tools and tactics and strategies that we use every single year to hire hundreds of people at Blue Sky Services. I'm going to show you right now. Let me see if I can get my screen sharing going on.
Ooh, you're just getting deep right away.
Bam. The first thing is that I want to pop up is Blue Sky Services. We've got maid service, window cleaning, gutter cleaning, and all that good stuff. So most of the people that are out there listening probably own, manage, or I don't know what you're doing, just hanging out, drinking beer, I guess. That's fine too. We love all that, but most of you have either a maid service or window cleaning or some sort of exterior cleaning company, lawn care, all those sorts of things, home service. So
we got junk removal, we got pest control,
all kinds of stuff.
Carpet cleaning, as you can see.
But we do have
that was not a good sound effect. I'll work on that.
That's all right. You need some buttons. So anyway, this is going to be about the recruiting end of it, though. And the first thing, I want to tell people too is at Blue Sky Services, not only do we have our cleaning companies and our operating businesses, but we also have a recruiting service, bookkeeping service, and a marketing service with our Blue Skies admin division of the company. So I really, the last few years dove into how to recruit for the blue collar market, the labor pool, that $10 to $20 an hour human being, which it can be kind of challenging to find and hire and all that stuff. And Dan, I think, and Andy,
as you watch Facebook, you see people all together just give up, right? Like, there's nobody good out there. You can't find anybody. Nobody wants to work anymore. Like, people have just literally thrown in the towel. You see it every day.
Yeah. And that's the number one complaint that I hear from small business owners around the country is that they can get applicants coming in and they can get some people coming through the door or whatever, but it takes forever to go through, 100 applications to find that 2 or 3 sort of gold nuggets that are in there. And by the time, number one, you don't have time. You're trying to get out of a truck. You're trying to figure out your marketing. You're dealing with business. You're growing your business. And I don't know of anybody that really got into a home service business, window cleaning, maid service business, and was getting into it because they love recruiting, blue collar people. I don't know of anybody that likes to go into, I hated bookkeeping, right? I hated bookkeeping. My books were so messy. It was so nasty. But
that's the only reason I'm here is because when we bought your business, Dalkey was like, hey, we bought this business, but the guy's books are so bad. We need to bring you on board just to get it all friggin' cleaned up.
What? Little cash here, little cash out, little cash in, little cash over there in my pocket.
You do what you gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do.
What are you doing with all these Amish women, not even W-2ing them? What are you doing with these people? What do you got, 10 vans? You own a house cleaning company.
You were working on the recruiting game long before you knew you were going to be running a recruiting business.
Man, I'll tell you what, I sure was. It was a little easier then, though. I had like 40 Amish girls working for me, and I could just say, hey, Mary Lou, we need 2 people tomorrow. And she'd go across the street, get a neighbor, get her cousin, and they'd show up in a van, and then they'd start cleaning. So
that was cool. The original Indeed.com. That was before.
That was. Yep. ShadyDays.com. So here we go. We're going to dig into the first thing I want to talk about is your research. Most people don't research their labor market. Again, not a real fun thing to do, but one of the tools we use is ZipRecruiter, and you can just go ziprecruiter.com and put in window cleaner or just just Google window cleaning salary if that's what you're looking up, window cleaner salary in your area, and you'll find that ZipRecruiter and a couple others are in here. Indeed will give you some data. ZipRecruiter gives you some data. I like to use ZipRecruiter. Number one, I can't stand Indeed, but we use it. So I don't know about them, but I do know that they are basing, Indeed is basing their salaries a lot of times on what employers are posting, not reality.
Not on actual data, just what
Exactly.
Which we all know you're marketing and you're saying what your highest employees get paid, not
Right.
what your average employee gets paid, probably.
And that's exactly right. ZipRecruiter takes data from ADP, from a payroll company. That's the dollar bills that go to the bank. That's what you want to know.
That's cool.
Yep. So one of the things that I like to look up is hourly rate and weekly. Okay. Because the weekly I like to use in job descriptions, and I'll touch on that in about 5 minutes. But what's most important, even if you pay commission, you want to find out what the hourly is, because the weekly doesn't mean squat if they're only doing 20 hours a week. If they're doing 80 hours a week, the weekly doesn't mean squat. I want to know what the hourly pay is. And that's what you want to base your market research on. And you don't need to get super crazy and but you really want to find out what the average is. And then you got,
so one thing, like, this is just the bookkeeping nerd in me, but I had to take 563 divided by 13, or divided by 40, I should say, to see like
right.
what somebody that's making 563 per week would make it, like what their hourly rate is in a 40-hour week, and it's actually 14 some. So
Yep.
This is also suggesting not just their hourly rate, but that the average window cleaner is working, closer to like 45 hours a week, not 40.
And that's probably true. That's probably true. And it gives you some data in here as well to go through. It'll give you some ranges. And I like this too. It gives you some of the highest paying window cleaning jobs in your area, which I think is really helpful, because you don't want to be average necessarily. I mean, if you're looking to pay average, I hope you have some really good benefits, really good culture, and that's fine. I cringe when I see people paying under the average though. You're going to get an under average Joe working for you, or Jane, then, if you're doing that. The first thing that a blue collar worker looks for is the first thing they look for is location, believe it or not. That's the number one thing. Is it close enough to where I live so I can only drive 15 or 20 minutes? And then they start to look at pay. Okay. That's the two things that are most important. And so you really need to, when you're doing recruiting, you really need to look through the lens of a job seeker, not as a business owner. That's so critical. And you have to figure out where you want to be. Where's your business model? And Dan can talk to that a lot. Probably better than anybody on the planet what the average pay is for different blue collar workers.
I see some things. What's actually interesting here too, because I know a lot of home service companies are moving more towards that performance-based pay and that commission-based pay. And one of the things that gets super important when you're hiring people is, you want to pay that, but they come into your business used to being paid hourly. If they're in food service, if they're in manufacturing, if they're in retail, they're all making hourly pay, and commission is scary. So while they can make way more money on a commission performance-based pay system, helping them bridge that gap and helping them understand, like, we're going to pay you more when you do really good, but no matter what, you're always going to make at least more than you were making before, and more than what most window cleaners are making anywhere. Like, using that data that you just showed can help seal the deal and get them comfortable with making a commission type of pay, while helping them understand that they're still going to make like great pay no matter what, even as like a baseline. So I love that data.